Well, hello and welcome to episode 31. And for now, this will be the last episode since I've run out of material, thank God. And I'll leave it untitled except for the header when you log in. God handpicks the musicians, songwriters, producers, and vocalists to create the sublime and magnificent music that everyone wants to hear. Everyone else is on their own. And I wanted to give a shout out to what I consider to be the best male and female vocalists of our era, and it's a long list, especially the male list. And this is the male vocalist list. Felix Cavaliere, Mitch Ryder, Daryl Hall, Michael McDonald, Bobby Hatfield, Frank Sinatra, Donny Hathaway, Gary Booker, David Ruffin, Marvin Gaye, Ray Charles, John Fogerty, Lowell George, Lenny Williams, Donald Fagen, Jackie Wilson, Bill Medley, Greg Lake, Levi Stubbs, Al Anderson, Bobby Darin, Sam Cooke, Eddie Brigatti, Tony Bennett, Van Morrison, Jack Bruce, Boss Skaggs, Greg Allman, Steve Winwood, Louis Armstrong, Rick Danko, Richard Manuel, Paul Barrere, Eric Clapton, Wilson Pickett, Kenny Loggins, Stephen Stills, Brian and Carl Wilson, Neil Young, Stevie Wonder, Otis Redding, Lonnie Jordan, Terry Kath, Lou Rawls, Eric Burden, Alex Chilton, James Hunter, Roger Daltrey, Tom Jones, Sam Moore, Dave Prater, Nat King Cole, Peter Townsend, Jose Feliciano, Alan Clark, Mike Smith, Tom Johnston, and finally Marty Balin. And now for the best female vocalist. Barbra Streisand, Amy Winehouse, Sarah Vaughan, Aretha Franklin, Ella Fitzgerald, Chaka Khan, Judy Garland, Whitney Houston, Petula Clark, Linda Ronstadt, Karen Carpenter, Tracy Thorn, Corinne Drury, Mariah Carey, Bonnie Raitt, Joni Mitchell, Dionne Warwick, Patsy Cline, Lydia Pence, Adele, Jackie DeShannon, Patty Austin, Karen Jan Woodward, Celine Dion, Dusty Springfield, Anita O'Day, Mary Weiss, Grace Slick, Ronnie Spector, and Alicia Keys. And thanks for gracing us with those wonderful voices. About 4 or 5 years ago, a co-worker saw an online advertisement for the seasonal start of Curb Your Enthusiasm, the hysterical comedy series on HBO starring Larry David. It's simply one of my favorite shows again of all time. And when she noticed the ad, she placed it on Facebook and wrote below the ad, "Dennis Angeloni is back again." I have to admit, that was one of the biggest compliments I've ever received. Probably the pinnacle of my life. You start to understand what has become of this generation of folks that were born after around 1985 or so. They have been digitized to a never-ending river of information, and much of it's bullshit. Deception and possible drowning lies around the corner as you drink from the tap synonymous with drinking water from a fire hydrant. I've fallen for this trap a bit myself, and I'm 68. It's practically unavoidable as your devices become an appendage. And the result? This generation raised on this have little that resembles real and meaningful interactions. The daily connections are an illusion, an almost fictional interplay that can lead to a deprived emotional depth and range. Close and intimate bonding comes from one-to-one live interactions to perceive subtle human reactions and behaviors such as smiling, facial cues, eye movement, spontaneity, and verbal exchange. Alive and real, not an empty 5 or 6 meaningless messages with or without an emoji that leaves one hanging in the balance for the next chatter. And anxiety is at an all-time high with this digital malaise as distraction has become the new norm, along with constant terse and shallow comments. I hope the best for all of you out there, and the Facebooks, Instagrams, Twitters, and TikTok need to step up and reel these platforms in. They've become synonymous to drug addiction. So I'm watching this commercial the other day on TV, and a teenage boy and girl are on the beach at night with some friends, and they have a fire going, and their eyes meet, they smile, approach each other, and are about to start kissing, when she suddenly walks away and ends up trying off to Taco Bell. Seemingly because she has a craving for their chicken wrap. And I'm like, what? You're going to pass up this romantic moment on a beach for a Taco Bell chicken wrap. Nothing against Taco Bell. She must have been really, really hungry, maybe not have eaten in 2 or 3 days. And if I was that hungry to walk away from that romantic possibility, I don't think I'd walk off the Taco Bell. On a fall morning, my wife leaves to do some work at the travel agency she's employed with. So as she kisses me goodbye, she asks, "So what do you want to do when I come home? Have sex or rake some leaves?" And I hesitated and replied, "Let's rake some leaves. It's a mess out there," showing my age. And this is the end of my material. And we'll need to start writing all over again. I've already started actually, but need to get a little more material. I do have material, but just don't feel that it's good enough to talk about. I've enjoyed every minute of this except for the audio checks and issues, the system failures and complications between OSB Studio and my laptop, and the endless details to make this as good a product as I possibly could. Though I know that I fell short in some areas and I have limited talent. Also, I want to give a shout out to Will Turner at Best Buy in town here in Norwalk, Connecticut. I could not have done this without him, and I probably spent about 15 to 20 different sessions with him in order to resolve the many issues I encountered along the way. And when an opportunity arises for me to write something down, I'll jump on it. Life always provides plenty of material, that's for sure. I actually started writing when I was about 13 or 14 years old, so it kind of came naturally to me. And I will eventually put up the songs that I did in the studio back in 2001 and 2013, but need to find out how to do that. So I'll go back to Best Buy again. So long for now, but as I said in the very beginning of this project, I'll be back. To all of you, take care, and ain't easy out there, and it requires a lot of tactical skills, patience, understanding, and well, some form of optimism and hope. Peace and love, and I'll stop here. See you soon.